Google App Engine goes prime time. Google App Engine, that is Google's cloud computing platform, which is probably most comparable to Amazon's AWS and EC2, has released its business version and is no longer a beta product. Part of the change means that Google has updated its terms of service. Part of these terms of service upgrades now allow people to use Google App Engine to host both gambling sites and adult/porn sites, as long as they're compliant with what's legal in the US. Things you can't do with Google App Engine currently is anything that is ITAR, which is the International Traffic in Arms Regulations. That's the word I was looking for. And it is not HIPAA compliant. Basically, it's still impossible to do those things in a public cloud infrastructure, and Google is no exception. However, Google is probably the first of the cloud platforms to allow adult content, and to go through the process of setting up an adult content site to see that in fact that it was working, I tried. And it turns out that while Google App Engine allows you to run adult sites, Google Apps for Domains, that is what you publish your site onto a domain with, doesn't really allow for adult sites currently. You can run an adult site as long as you avoid any of the 7 words you can't say on television, or I don't know what the specific words are, but basically you can't have a domain that has the word suck, or slang terms for most of the parts of anatomy, or a whole bunch of sexual acts can't appear in the name. That isn't to say that you can't build an app that is adult in nature and publish it to appspot.com. I actually set up suckingon.appspot.com to prove that it would in fact work and able to monitor whether or not Google had changed its policy, but I wasn't able to deploy to suckingon.com because Apps for Domain doesn't allow you to do anything with the word suck in the domain, even if your domain was totally clean. For example, I own lollipopsandsuckers.com that I always expected was going to be a place to sell lollipops and suckers and probably other assorted candy. Nor could you have wholesalesuckerfish.com, a place to sell suckerfish for your exotic fish aquarium. So there are limitations, and those limitations are Apps for Domains limitations, not Google App Engine limitations. But if you want to have your domain go live, you've got to publish through Apps for Domains. So it's kind of there, but not all of the way there. But as Google App Engine is fully out of the beta, there's now better support and the possibility to have those kinds of functions, whereas previously you couldn't.